Well, hello there. And my name is Mark Miles. And as you know, I love helping trainers, presenters, facilitators, coaches, and mentors take their results to the next level. And so in today's video, I want to talk about a topic that is often, I guess, swept under the rug or not really acknowledged very much as it really should be. And that is the topic of coachability. Coachability. Now, I'm not sure if you're aware of this topic or you've heard of this topic before. But it is a topic that many trainers and presenters know exists, but are a little bit hesitant to tackle head on, right? Now, the topic or the concept is called coachability. And if you're taking notes, highly recommend that you write this word down because this word is going to be one of the distinguishing factors in determining, I guess, the results that you are actually able to achieve in a training room. Now, I define coachability as somebody's willingness to follow instructions, and second part is to take on feedback that you may give them. Now, you can all remember in any training session that you've delivered, an audience member that was extremely coachable. And you can probably remember a training session in which you had a learner that was very uncoachable. Okay. Now, we define, or you could define, or you could probably imagine something that's highly coachable that shows up on time, all right, that they follow all the instructions, they do everything that you ask of them, and then when you provide feedback to them, that they shift and change their behavior rapidly. Okay, they don't argue against the behavior or your comments, they don't question what you've said, they just are straight in, taking on the feedback, and they're just hitting the road running, and they're just applying as soon as you give it to them. Okay. Now, the uncoachable person, on the other hand, you may give some instructions and then they may say, no, I don't necessarily agree with that point. No, I think I could do it better. I could do it a different way. Or no, that's probably not the best way to do it. And they'll argue through the instructions that you give them, or you may give them some feedback and they're going to argue back against your feedback. Now, as trainers, presenters, facilitators, coaches, we all want the highly, highly, highly coachable person to work with. I mean, let's just face it, they're the people that we love to work with, okay? So in this video, I just wanted to share with you 3 simple ways that you can build even more coachable individuals in a training environment. Now, one of the challenges around this topic, though, is that by nature and by the context and motivation that a learner will bring into a training room, they are going to have different levels of coachability. Okay, so what could determine that? Well, their preconceived notion about you as a trainer, their preconceived notion about the topic, that's going to determine how coachable they are. The preconceived, I guess, level of experience they've got with the topic. But ultimately, us as trainers, we do need to take some level of responsibility for encouraging people to become even more coachable. Okay. Now, I love working with coachable people. Excuse me. And a while ago, I actually ran a training course, and I had 2 individuals in this particular course. It's a true story. And I had a 19-year-old female, and I had I'd say she was around 45 years old. Now, one of these individuals is extremely coachable. One of them was not. Okay. Now, one of these individuals actually turned up on time. She was hungry to learn. She asked questions. When I told her the structure on how to deliver her presentation, she followed it to the T. Now, the other learner was consistently late. The other learner, although I gave her structure on how to do her presentation, she went outside the structure. And lo and behold, on presentation day, I wonder who got better results. You can probably imagine, right? And I won't say which one it was, and I won't say which one particularly was more coachable or necessarily. I'll leave that up to your thinking. But what I want to share with you is that the people that are coachable in life will generally get the result, where the people that are less coachable will get a lesser result. And I know in my life, there have definitely been times where I have been very coachable. And I guess I make a personal commitment where whenever I go to a learning environment, that I like to forget everything that I've ever learned and leave my ego at the door so that I can sit in that environment and take in everything that I can and be as coachable as possible. Because I know that there are certain areas of my life where I have got great results, but it's only because I've been willing to follow those instructions. Okay. Now, let's get to those 3 tips on how you can help your learners become even more coachable. Okay. So, tip number 1 is have the conversation. Have the conversation about what is coachability and what that actually would look like in the learning environment. But if you're teaching an audience of, say, salespeople, and you want to talk about coachability, well, you may talk about in the context or framework of, don't we all love it when our clients are coachable? Okay, and put it into the third person, and have the conversation about how great clients are that are willing to follow instructions, implement the product, and all that kind of thing, right? Bring it to the forefront and talk about what is coachability and where we may see it out there in the world. Second thing that you can do is definitely share from your personal experience in your life. Where have you been super coachable and got great results? Where have you been resistant to being coachable and you've had stunted results? Okay. And the more you can kind of share that, the more people are going to go, all right, cool. Maybe there is some value in being even more coachable. Third thing that you can suggest to people is the concept of try it on. Try it on. Okay, so what you can say to people is, within the learning environment, what we encourage you to do is try the concept on at least during this learning environment. Try it on, have a good hard attempt at integrating it as much as you can, and then after the training, try it on for at least another 3 or 4 days, and then, and only then, make your decision if it will work for you or not. Because many times people will disregard a concept because it didn't work the first time. But as humans, we know that ultimately for something to work, we actually have to work with it 2 or 3 times to make it work for us. Okay. So just to recap, what were those concepts? Number 1 is definitely have the conversation. Talk about coachability. What is it? Number 2 is sharing your life where you have been coachable and you've got great results, and where you haven't been coachable and you're getting stunted results. And last of all, you definitely want to make sure that you encourage people to try it on. Okay, we can never force anyone to do anything, but we want to encourage people to be willing to adopt new ideas, have a growth mindset, and try new ideas on. Okay, coachability, if you can encourage people to become even more coachable, you will find that over time the barriers to learning will slowly fall down. Okay, as great trainers know, the first thing that you need to be able to do when you walk into a training room is be able to monitor, check out the level of coachability of a room, and be able to certainly raise that to as high as it can be, so that learners you work with get the highest possible results that you can work with them to get. Okay, now all of that kind of presupposes that you are the best person to learn from. Okay, now let's answer that. Let's address that elephant in the room. Are you the best person to learn from? Okay, now you will find that the more credibility, authority someone has, the more willing you are to be coachable around that person. Okay, so the 2 criteria I look for when I'm looking to learn from anyone. So I kind of find that I have a direct correlation, or there is a direct correlation between I guess the respect that I have for someone and my level of coachability. Okay, the more I respect them, the more I am coachable around them. Okay, so here is the 2 questions I ask myself when I'm selecting someone to learn from. Number 1, do they have the result, and do they have the result consistently? Okay. Do they just have it once or twice, or do they have it an ongoing? Okay. So if I'm looking to learn from someone, I'm going to ask myself, do they have the result? Second question I'm going to ask myself is, do the people they teach also get the result? Okay. So if I'm sitting in an audience and I'm looking at someone and I'm looking to evaluate that person and am I willing to be coachable by them or with them or from them, I'm going to ask myself, do they have the result and do they have it consistently? And second is, do the people that have been taught by them previously also have that result? Okay, so I just want to put that little caveat in there because, I can talk about coachability, but at the end of the day, if you're not learning from someone that you respect, then you're probably going to be less coachable. So it is also personal responsibility to put yourself in environments where you are with people that you do respect and you can see that person on the stage, or you can be around a mentor that meets those criteria that I want to suggest, which is number one, do they consistently get the result? Number two, do other people that they have taught also get those results as well? Okay. So my message to you is coachability. As a trainer, presenter, facilitator, coach, mentor, whatever you call yourself, have that even more top of mind and come up with even more strategies that you can use and implement in your training sessions to increase your audience's coachability, willingness to follow instructions and take on feedback. And a second part of this whole conversation is, as a person yourself is looking to develop, ask yourself, how can I become even more coachable? And potentially, where am I resisting following instructions and taking on feedback from others? Okay, because your key to your next piece of success or the next level you want to go to is probably behind that uncomfortable feedback or behind that willingness to follow the instructions or that system to the letter, to the point, and step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. When you follow a system, so to speak, that works and works consistently, you'll probably get even better results. Okay, so today's topic was all about coachability. Hopefully it resonated with you. Hopefully you understood some of the concept. And if you had any questions about further techniques to create coachability, just put in a comment, put in a like, put in a subscribe if you'd like to do that. Thanks so much for watching the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.